Welcome to Vator Box. I'm Bambi Francisco.
And I'm Ezra Roizen.
This week, once again, we have Howard Hartenbaum. He's a venture capitalist at August Capital, which recently raised $650 million in a new fund this year. Howard's also one of the first investors in Skype. He's also invested in Pixaza and Swoopo, and so we have Howard here today to help us look at TribeVibe. So let's take a look at TribeVibe and listen to their pitch.
Hey, I'm Jed. I'm from TribeVibe. TribeVibe tracks and measures the impact of content across the social web. Every writer, every blogger, every video producer, everyone who makes content wants to be seen, heard and talked about. It's a basic human imperative, but people who do it professionally have it in buckets and spades. Okay? But tracking and measuring resonance, your engagement, the impact you have, is time-consuming and difficult. Now, hands up if you haven't heard of this man.
Is he in the audience?
This man doesn't have the biggest audience in the world, but in his target audiences, he has incredible resonance. He has an incredible impact. But he has a tough time. When an article goes up on TechCrunch, it not only goes up there, it's also written about and other people cover the same topic and will usually refer to TechCrunch. The rest of the web will get onto TechCrunch and comment, talk about it. Mike himself will share it on Facebook, put it up on Dig. He'll then need to go out and try Google searching or using real-time search to find out who's talking about and who's linking through to that content. There are 25 million people who face this problem in the US alone. Bloggers, publishers, social media enthusiasts and marketers. They spend an average of $1,800 a year. And the top 10% spend over $7,500 and the top 2% over $20,000 a year on their presence. It's a massive and growing market. We provide a solution to that problem. How do you stay on top of this? How do you track how your content is seen, shared, linked and talked about? And we help you rank and compare that resonance, understand your audience engagement so you can articulate your influence. Behind it is what we call the secret of the beat, the drumbeat algorithm. So how loud is your content? It's a new way of measuring resonance by ranking content, sources and producers according to the activity around them. And it ranks content filtered through your network and your friends.
Well, he certainly starts off very peppy.
He's energetic.
He's very energetic.
Yeah, good pitch man.
He's a good pitch man. Good thing that he's up there on stage. And he does talk about, he does frame the problem, which I always like, that there is a problem understanding really what your impact is. As a publisher, I definitely know that it's always hard to figure out where you're getting all the traffic, relevant traffic, and who's out there promoting your stuff. What I would have wanted to hear more though was what really was who was the end customer and the value proposition, who was actually going to be consuming their services.
Right.
And it wasn't clear.
Right. I mean, I think that's, so the first thing that jumped to my mind after the pitch, good pitch guy, I think he did a nice job kind of framing it and had the story all the way through and brought a case study to the pitch, which is always fun. The first thing that struck me is who cares? Why do I care? Why do you care? Who is the person, to your point, who cares? And I think there are people who care, but who are those people that really care enough to know when something they've written has been tweeted or dug or farked or whatever it may be?
He comments that there's like 20 million potential
people who care.
People who really care, and just because maybe you care because of Vator, but
that's your business, though. Your business is to care.
But I think that's the point. There's a lot of people out there who care because their business or their wannabe businesses for many other people is all about, their blogging, and they want to make sure people hear them, and they're selling advertising on their blogging site or whatever.
Yeah, well, so that's a challenge, and I'll jump into it. And I don't typically do this. That's typically Ezra that jumps around in these segments, but this is, let's talk about who they're targeting. And I have spoken with them, and I think they're targeting bloggers. So bloggers typically today will have, let's say, TypePad, right? TypePad, you have TypePad, I have TypePad, so you can see who's visiting your site, which keywords they use.
Doesn't TypePad just offer a service like this?
Well, so this is my challenge with the company is that, their model is to charge $20 for a blogger like myself or Ezra for our personal blogs for additional statistics about, who's stumbling upon or digging or all of those things. And I guess the question is, I don't even pay $20 to TypePad. I pay $5.
Right.
And I think that that's these type of tools are just going to be integrated right into a type pad and sold for, a couple bucks more.
Right. So I think the size of the market's an issue. Now, they could probably make a business at 99 cents if there was enough people. I mean, the question is the price can be moved around on this product because once you have the product, the cost of goods sold, my assumption is on delivering the next one is probably close to zero. So the question becomes how much does it cost them to get to a product that's useful? And so I think, but to me, the before you get into the price, how many folks out there really need detailed analytics on this? I mean, I think you care a lot because you're Vator. You're trying to optimize and find where's the chinks in the armor and maybe what social media tools am I not. I'm getting tons of traffic from Dig, nothing from Reddit. Maybe there's things I can do to optimize or mentions or, the next level would be sentiment. So when I get tweeted, am I getting everybody saying, this is the stupidest article I've ever read in my life, RT? Or am I getting, this is fantastic and really interesting stuff? And so what's sort of the semantic sentiment of what's being said? So I think there's an analytical aspect to it, which you may or may not get other places, and then there's
So you're saying
commentary.
they should target bigger bloggers, like publishers like Vator, small business publishers and medium-sized publishers?
My sense is there's a more active market for those kinds of folks.
Howard, we talked about earlier that as far as the novelty, there's like a plethora of these guys, out there, BuzzLogic,
Well, there's always
Radiant 6, and
there's bigger players, like some people are using Google Analytics to do a variety of things, and they keep adding more and more capabilities to their service, and I would imagine it's only a matter of months before they add, another feature here, another feature there, which starts encroaching on those pieces that a smaller company would be hoping would be their business model. I would say in the past year, I've seen 4 or 5 proposals which are very similar to this, and all great people who have, some of them already have, decent revenue, decent meaning $1 million, $2 million in revenue, but all trying to figure out how do they grow their business from that point forward. Like, it's a nice small business, but is it a business that's going to be worth, hundreds of millions of dollars would imply? You're going to have to do a lot more than try and target, $20 a person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Advice to the company.
So it looks like good people in the business, and my 30,000-foot assessment would be that he probably does have a business here, but he would be best served to focus on some of the business metrics before he goes out to raise financing in the company, because as it is right now, it really is, all venture capitalists say we invest in early companies, but this is kind of early. Okay. And this is missing some of the key, good people. He has a nice concept, but what is his trick going to be that's going to make it so that he pulls away from all these other companies, or he stands out, or users start to enjoy using his service?
And I think that comes both from the market selection of who you go after and then what are the features. So I think that going after bigger guys may be interesting, but maybe that's not the right approach. I need to know better what his thoughts were, or their thoughts were on exactly the package for the target market.
Okay.
It may be as much as, he talks about this drumbeat, which is basically a rating which shows, some aggregated form of how you're doing. Maybe he can do a fantastic job marketing his service so that people, say, oh, what's your drumbeat? Or they're tweaking little things and watching that number change, and maybe he develops some fantastic algorithms behind that which really are representative, and that could be some really hardcore technology that makes his business pull away from the others. But as is right now, it's hard to differentiate them.
Yeah, and you could do what HubSpot's doing, which is sort of give that away, which is make sure to get everybody in, suck them in by giving them a drumbeat score.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely a freemium kind of business. There needs to be some easy entry point.
Okay. All right. Well, we did the best that we could to give these guys some advice.
Sure.
Howard, you answered pretty much the question of...
free advice is worth what it costs.
But you answered the question of whether you would actually sit down and meet with them. And I think the answer really is that we kind of need more information, or it needs a little bit more baking.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thanks, guys. Thanks, Howard.
Thanks for inviting me.
You've been watching Vator Box. I'm Bambi Francisco. We'll see you next time on Vator News.